Yes, Ed turned out to not be gracious. He did some very bad things, and then when he did some very bad things, it meant that Discovery Channel just didn't work for us. Yeah, yeah.
No one saw it coming. One minute, Edd China was rolling a battered Porsche into the workshop, sleeves up, smile wide, ready to show the world how real car fixes were done. The next, he was gone. No farewell episode, no final laugh with Mike Brewer, just a sudden, jarring silence that left millions of fans staring at their screens, wondering what had yanked the king of big orange gloves out of wheeler dealers. Theories exploded, some pointed to a sudden budget cut that gutted the soul of the show, while others whispered of a behind-the-scenes fallout so tense you could hear the wrenches drop. What really happened when the cameras stopped rolling? Over the next few moments, we'll sift the rumors, crack open the facts, and try to piece together the truth, because one small overlooked detail might just swing those workshop doors open again. Back in 2003, long before YouTube how-to clips ruled the internet, two very different Brits stepped in front of a single camera and changed car television forever. Mike Brewer was the street-smart hustler, part auctioneer, part stand-up comic sniffing out rusty bargains in back-alley car lots. Edd China stood beside him, a towering figure with calm curiosity and his trademark orange gloves, turning those clunkers into roadworthy gems. What made the show magnetic wasn't just the dramatic before and after reveals, it was Edd's methodical, hands-on teaching. He removed wheels, labeled bolts, explained each step in a way anyone could follow, from teens in their driveways to retirees in their garages. While Mike crunched the numbers and cracked jokes about profits, Edd made mechanical mishaps feel like weekend adventures. The chemistry worked. Viewer mail flooded in from Brazil to Bahrain, all begging for longer repair segments and deeper dives. By the fifth season, Wheeler Dealers was airing in over 100 countries. By season 9, the entire crew had relocated to sun-soaked California, chasing fresh builds and a massive US audience. They went from restoring Morris Minors to squeezing Ford Mustangs, DeLoreans, and Camaros into a growing collection. But with the move came pressure, tighter filming schedules, higher expectations, and sponsorship contracts that added layers of restriction. Everything looked bigger and brighter, but behind the scenes, cracks were forming. The new network, Velocity, wanted faster edits and more content in less time. Cameras started rolling before sunrise, and cars had to be sold by dinner. A job that once took 10 on-screen minutes was now blitzed through in 30 seconds. A full-engine teardown became 5 quick shots and a voiceover. Edd, ever the educator, was the first to feel the squeeze. He pushed back, he pleaded for more time to teach, to preserve the essence of what made the show special. Mike, caught in the middle, tried to balance the sponsors and support his friend, but the distance grew. On camera, the pair still smiled and laughed, but fans noticed something was off. Forums and comment sections lit up with frustration. Why the rush? Where's the detail? Viewers from Brazil to Birmingham missed the depth that once let them follow along at home. Behind the scenes, Edd stayed late, shooting extra close-ups in hopes they'd survive the editing process. Most never made the final cut. Pressure mounted like steam in a sealed radiator. Then, it burst. On March 21, 2017, Edd China uploaded a 6-minute YouTube video that shook the car community. Titled "I'm Leaving Wheeler Dealers," it wasn't clickbait. Dressed in his orange gloves, seated at a plane desk, Edd looked straight into the camera and spoke with quiet conviction. The new producers, he said, wanted to shorten the repair segments in the name of efficiency. For Edd, that wasn't acceptable. A car show without real repairs isn't a car show at all, he said simply. He thanked the fans, praised Mike, and wished the network well. But between the polite lines, the sting was obvious. It's not the direction I can support, he added, a calm but cutting farewell. The response was instant. Within hours, social media exploded. Comments poured in. Forums dissected every word, every glance. Some praised Edd for standing by his principles. Others turned their frustration toward Mike Brewer, accusing him of not fighting hard enough to preserve the show's heart. The video spread like wildfire, 1 million views, then 2, then 5. By lunchtime, it hit automotive news sites. By dinner time, it was trending on Twitter. The backlash hit Mike Brewer like a sledgehammer. Accusations flew, fans called him a sellout, blamed him for the show's decline, and, in some darker corners of the web, sent threats that crossed every line of decency. It was clear, Edd's quiet departure had triggered a storm and Mike was standing at the center of it. It had nothing to do with rusty cars or leaking gaskets. After Edd China's bombshell departure from Wheeler Dealers, Mike Brewer tried to calm the storm. He tweeted that he loved Edd like a brother and had pleaded with the network to preserve the long repair scenes. But the tide of anger kept rising. Soon, the backlash spilled into real life. Mike's inbox filled with hate mail. One message warned of a visit to his home, another dragged his teenage daughter into the mess. Shaken, Mike contacted the police, who opened a file and advised him to stay alert. The emotional toll was crushing. Mike later admitted the stress nearly broke him. Even Edd stepped in, asking fans not to threaten Mike and urging everyone to chill out. But as often happens online, one spark had ignited a wildfire. Sponsors grew nervous. A major tire brand pulled a planned ad spot. The network released a longer statement, insisting Wheeler Dealers would evolve while staying true to its roots. They also announced Edd's replacement, Anton Stead, a cheeky, fast-working mechanic known for his energy and quick builds. The fanbase immediately split. Some were curious and excited to see fresh blood, others cried replaceable and vowed never to watch again. Still, many fans held on to a fragile hope that Edd and Mike might somehow reconcile. But for the moment, the split felt final. As Mike braced himself for the show's first episode without Edd, and was about to find out just how fierce the spotlight could be. When the dust settled and filming resumed, Anton Stead, once a police officer, now a car builder, stepped into the shop with a confident grin and a lightning-fast wrench hand. The network banked on his charisma. The debut episode featured a bright blue Mustang. Ant cracked it open, swapped the gearbox, and sprayed on paint like it was frosting. Viewers hungry for action loved it. But longtime fans, the ones who took notes and paused scenes to learn, felt something was missing. "Where's the slow walkthrough?" they asked in the comments. "How did he line up the clutch?" And did his best to bridge the divide. Between takes, he filmed bonus clips breaking down the more technical jobs and uploaded some to YouTube. Still, many remained unseen on a hard drive. Ratings stayed healthy, but the audience was clearly split, those enjoying the fast thrills, and those mourning the loss of the show's educational heart. Mike tried to steer the new duo forward. He praised Ant's skills, teased deeper builds, and promised more detail in upcoming episodes. But every post he made online echoed with the same refrain, "Bring back Edd." Ant himself joked he was the most loved and hated mechanic on television. Off camera, the pressure weighed heavily. Still, cars came in and cars went out, a That Sun 240Z, a dusty Ferrari, even a military Humvee. They were all flipped for profit on screen. The numbers showed the show could survive. But could it ever feel the same? Meanwhile, Edd China had slipped into quiet. He retreated to a workshop in the English countryside, rarely seen except for appearances at car shows and charity events. For 4 years, fans kept asking, where did he go? In 2021, they finally got their answer. Edd launched a brand new YouTube series, Edd China's Workshop Diaries. The first episode dropped on a quiet Friday night. No flashy intros, no broadcast schedule, just Edd, a kettle whistling in the background, and a tired old Range Rover ready for a second life. He greeted viewers like old friends, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. No montages. No rush. Every bolt came off in real time. Every repair was explained clearly, often with sketches on a whiteboard. It felt like the early days of Wheeler Dealers, only slower, deeper, and entirely under Edd's control. The projects quickly expanded. One week he restored a 1960s milk float with a hidden electric motor. Another week, he brought back the record-breaking motorized sofa that once sped through London streets. Viewers were thrilled. "I can finally see the whole job again," many commented. By the 10th episode, Edd's channel had passed 500,000 subscribers, powered by ad revenue, Patreon backers, and the occasional big hands, small garage t-shirt sale. With no network pressures, Edd moved at his own pace. Some months he posted weekly, others, he paused to find rare parts or attend engineering fairs. No one complained. Fans knew the next episode would arrive when the job was truly done. Brands reached out, but Edd only accepted sponsors whose tools were already in his toolbox. "If it isn't in my garage, it isn't in the show," he joked. Back on Wheeler Dealers, Antansted's run ended in 2020 when he moved back to the UK for family reasons. The network tapped Mark Elvis Priestley, a former McLaren F1 mechanic, to take over. With sharp skills and a laid-back charm, Elvis brought something new to the show. The 2021 season was filmed in a British workshop, and ratings held steady. Yet many fans still compared every weld and repair to Edd's meticulous methods. By 2024, it seemed the two worlds had fully diverged, Edd teaching on YouTube at his own pace, and Mike captaining a faster, flashier version of the show. Still, whispers of a reunion lingered. Mike would occasionally say, "Never say never." Edd would smile and quietly change the subject. Both seemed content on their own roads, but one question hung in the air: would they ever cross paths again? Then, in early 2023, the internet caught a hint of something unexpected. A small car blog published a single, cryptic line: "Sources say Edd China may guest star in a future Wheeler Dealers special." No dates. No confirmation. Just enough to send forums into a frenzy. Reddit lit up. YouTube speculation videos appeared overnight. Could the roads converge again? Or was it just wishful thinking? As always with Edd and Mike, the truth might be waiting just around the next bend. Threads stretched for miles. Some fans swore they'd seen Edd China having lunch with a Motor Trend producer at Goodwood. Others whispered that Mike Brewer and Edd were secretly planning a charity build to mark Wheeler Dealers' 25th anniversary. Neither man slammed the door on the idea. During a podcast, Mike laughed, "Never say never. My phone still works." A month later, Edd hosted a live stream from his workshop. When someone asked, "Would you ever go back?" he paused, grinned, and replied, "Only if we can show every nut and bolt." It wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no. And for longtime fans, that was more than enough to keep the hope alive. Fresh rumors kept rolling in. One story claimed the BBC was eyeing both men for a new EV conversion series. Another said Discovery pitched a reunion road trip, 10 classic cars, 10 countries, one last handshake. Most tips fizzled out as budgets shrank or dates slipped. Yet the chatter never fully died. In fact, subtle signs suggested the distance between Mike and Edd was shrinking, inch by inch. At the 2024 NEC Classic Motor Show, the two appeared on stage the same day for the first time in 7 years, different panels, but the same event. Backstage, they shared a brief hello, and a photo of them smiling together sent Twitter into a frenzy. A month later, Mike tweeted Edd a birthday message: "Have a great one, mate. Hope to share a brew soon." Edd liked it, replying with a simple thumbs-up emoji. They were small gestures, but for devoted fans, it felt like fresh oil on a long-rusted hinge. Away from the spotlight, both men stayed busy. Edd began experimenting with a hydrogen-powered taxi, hinting that alternative fuels might be his next big focus. Meanwhile, Mike wrapped up filming on the show's 20th season, teasing the biggest profit we've ever made. Still, every interview ended with the same lingering question: will you two ever team up again? Each man shrugged, smiled, and let mystery do the talking. That open door became its own kind of fuel. As long as no one said never, the dream stayed alive, and so did the endless speculation across forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube comment sections. Whether a reunion happens next year, next decade, or never at all, one thing remains clear: the story of Edd China and Mike Brewer isn't finished. It's simply idling engine warm, waiting for the next green light. Over the past 20-plus years, Wheeler Dealers, a humble show about buying and fixing old cars, evolved into a bigger conversation. How much reel can you cut before the heart stops beating? In its earliest days, every scraped knuckle and seized bolt felt raw and honest. There were no flashy edits, no product placement detours, just real fixes, shared in real time. Viewers learned, tried, and sometimes failed right alongside Edd and Mike. That made each victory feel earned. The 2017 split revealed a deeper truth: honesty comes at a cost. Edd chose principle over paycheck, walking away from a global hit in exchange for full creative control. Mike stayed, carrying the pressure of keeping a beloved franchise alive and supporting a production crew. Both decisions required courage. Both came with sacrifices. And both revealed something vital. Television is a team sport built on compromise, while craftsmanship thrives when no one is watching the clock. What's perhaps most surprising is how the audience responded. Instead of fading away, fans followed both men, some chasing quick-turn car flips with Mike, others soaking up Edd's long-form workshop tutorials. In today's content-saturated world, one truth stands tall: give people passion, and they'll find you regardless of the platform. So, will we ever see that famous handshake again? Maybe. History says money talks, but trust talks louder. If the day comes when both men agree the balance is right, enough screen time for every nut and bolt, enough respect for every budget line, those bright workshop lights might just click on again. Until then, two versions of the same dream roll forward. One chases profit in prime time. The other chases perfection, one long video at a time. And that brings us to the final question, parked neatly on your own driveway. Which path would you tune in for? Speedy flips? Detailed guides? Or a rare, long-hoped-for fusion of both? Because the next twist in this story might just depend on what you decide to watch next. From a small garage in London to workshops across the world, Edd China and Mike Brewer proved that dusty metal could spark big dreams. Their split showed that passion and profit don't always ride in the same lane. Yet somehow, both roads still lead to great stories, one told in TV soundbites, the other in slow, satisfying turns of the spanner. Maybe those roads will cross again. Maybe they're best apart. In the end, it might just come down to which road you cheer for most. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.